Hey guys, it's Core Ross and Rainbow Six News. So, Rainbow Six Siege is going to get cross-play and cross-progression between different platforms. Now, this is something I didn't want to hit on straight away when I actually read these notes for the next-gen consoles, which came out a while back, but there was something in there I skipped deliberately because I wanted to make a dedicated video about it. And it's this paragraph here. And to me, this is massive. So, it says, as for cross progression and cross play between PC consoles or between consoles of different families, we are continuously listening to feedback and we know this is something important to you. This has never been mentioned by the devs before outside of just the odd interview where they're like, oh, that's a good feature, I'd love to put that in the game someday. That's the closest we've ever got from something official, whereas this is properly official where they're actually saying that this is important to players and they are actually looking at it. So we're exploring the possibilities. We want to make sure we are taking all necessary elements into consideration to ensure we continue providing all of you with the best technical and well-rounded experience. This type of implementation needs to be thoroughly thought through, and this is where we stand right now. We will be sure to update you in the future when we have more news to share. This is big. This means that it should happen. Like, this is not something where they're saying, oh, we'd love to do it, but, it's maybe potentially never going to happen. This is something where they're saying, yeah, we are actually looking into it. We hope to have it, and we're going to have more news about it in the future. But let's just quickly hit on both of these things, because cross progression and cross play don't have to happen at the same time, and they don't even have to be connected in any way to each other. What would be great here is I play on Xbox and I play on PC. They're both linked to the same Ubisoft account, but both of them have different cosmetics, both of them have different operators unlocked. So I want to be able to log in to my Xbox or my PC with the same account, get all the same cosmetics, get all the same operator unlocks, get all the same loadouts, so that I can play and progress those accounts as one instead of two. That would be sweet if that's going to happen one day, and it sounds like it will. Now, it also does depend on how they do that. Like, are they going to merge accounts? So, when my two accounts linked to the same Ubisoft, will they merge all the contents, all the cosmetics together? That's hopefully what they're going to do. But the bad way would potentially be that I have to pick an account to be the main one, and the other one kind of gets, lost, and I never get the cosmetics from that one, which would suck if that was the case. But I'm hoping the reason they're taking so long with this is that they do want to actually bring in a thing where they merge those accounts together. Hopefully. Now, crossplay is a completely different thing, and like I say, it doesn't have to be connected to cross progression, and that is, of course, the ability to play against other platforms. And they even mention my best option, which is, because people always say, oh, they shouldn't be crossplay because then we'd have PC and consoles fighting each other, and PC would have an unfair advantage against console players because of mouse and keyboard. And they mention my solution for this, and that is cross-play between consoles from different families. So of course, the next gen here, what we got, allowed us to cross-play between the Xbox One and the Series X, or the PS4 and the PS5. So those kind of player bases stick together. What this would mean is an Xbox One player could play against a PS4 player or a PS5 player. The benefits here are larger player base, which means faster matchmaking and more balanced matchmaking because you have more of the different skills out there to play against. And for PC players to actually play against console players, that would be an extra step for the console player to take. They'd have to join something like a PC friends lobby to then be up against PC players. Otherwise, they will be safely in the console ecosystem and only playing either PlayStation or Xbox players. So I do like the fact that they mentioned the console players playing together, but potentially the PC players actually being separate from that. So effectively what you'd have is two bubbles, one where the console players are and then one where the PC players are by themselves. And the only way PC players will be able to play with console players is if a console player actually comes in and joins them. Now I also want to guess why they've written this paragraph, because beforehand, like I say, they've only mentioned this in interviews with developers where the developers have gone, oh yeah, that'd be a nice feature, but they haven't actually said they're going to do it. Whereas this is them actually properly going at it. And I think the reason is we've had that changeover to Ubisoft Connect where it was like, oh, we're going to have all these crossplay features, we're going to have all this cross progression features. But then the fine print, it was like in new titles, not in old titles. And of course, Siege is now 5 years old. So a lot of people were, and I still see this on Reddit, people posting saying, how do I invite my friend from a PlayStation to come play with me on Xbox? Because it sounds like you should be able to do it, reading the basics of how Ubisoft Connect is supposed to work. But of course, it's only new titles. So I assume that's the reason why they wrote this. And like I say, I think this pretty much says they're going to do it. It's not a definitive, but the fact that they're going to have future updates on it, either that being about one of these things like cross progression or crossplay. Now, what other things can we take away from this paragraph? So there's this line here where it says this type of implementation needs to be thoroughly thought through, and this is where we stand now. Now, if we're taking this at kind of face value, this means that they are currently thinking about it. They haven't implemented anything on their side to actually do it, which means it could take easily 2 years before we actually see it. Like, it literally could be year 7 before we actually see this feature. And then ending here, we will be sure to update you in the future when we have more news to share. I hope that one of these things, either, and to be honest, I think it'll be cross progression comes first. I'm hoping this shows up next year. And I wouldn't be too fussed if this showed up in year 7. Like, it wouldn't be the worst thing. I just hope this comes sooner rather than later, so that players who are switching from console to PC don't have to start again. And it will just make the whole process a lot easier. And it means, of course, if you have a PC but you also have a PS4 and you want to play with some of your console friends every so often, you'd be able to just log on to your PC account on your PS4 and have some fun with those players. Then if cross progression does come in the future, then you could jump in from your PC and get your console buddies to come over and play with you, which would be sweet. But anyway, this paragraph here is a big step in the right direction for Rainbow Six Siege, and I do hope that this indicates that cross progression and crossplay will eventually reach Rainbow Six Siege. Like I say, maybe it'll still take years. I'm hoping year 6 might be the year we actually get it. We'll have to wait and see, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. But let me know if you have different interpretations of this. Do you think this is more of them just saying, yeah, we'd love to have this feature, but they actually have no plans? Or do you think, yeah, they're going to do this and eventually it will happen? I would love to know what your kind of feedback is on this. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.